Yeah, we're making some Afro-disiac wine. If you want to know how this is made so you can tame the ladies, stay tuned for this channel. All right, we were scrolling through Facebook one day, and this recipe for this outlawed aphrodisiac wine appeared. We looked into it. I was like, that's pretty simple to make. Maybe we'll go ahead and try that. And the recipe calls for some of the cheapest wine you can find. And you can't get any cheaper than boxed wine. So the first thing we got to do is drain out of this boxed wine and into our pot, because we're going to bring this to just below a boil, and then we're going to add the following ingredients, and then I'll tell you what those ingredients are right after we get all this wine in here. All right, the kind of wine we're using is this cheap box wine, and we're going to use a sangria. All right, I'm going to read off the recipe for you. 3/4 gallon of white or red wine. We might be just over that, but that's all right. We're going to roll with it. All right, now from our own local honeybees, aged 10 years, we have selected our 1 cup of honey. Put our 1 cup of honey. Whoa. Wait a minute. Got to bring this to a slow boil, then add the ingredients. All right, so let's back that up.
Back it up, Terry.
All right, our box of wine yielded double the amount, so we had to double the ingredients of the recipe for double the fun. We got to bring our wine up. Or grape juice. You can use grape juice for this, but you got to bring it up to temperature to where it's just below a boil, and that's about where we're at now. It's starting to smoke a little bit. So as I go ahead and dump these ingredients in here, I'm going to call out the recipe, and then hopefully we'll be up to where we need to be. So that's getting good and hot. All right. For a regular recipe, it's 1 cup of honey. And this is the key ingredient. This is what it's all about right here, is the 1 tablespoon of coriander. It's the 1 tablespoon of coriander that is supposed to be the secret to this recipe. We're going to stir all this in. It's got some clumps in there right now, but we're going to work to get them clumps out of there. Some of those clumps are just the ginger floating around. But we want to make sure all these ingredients. So we're going to make sure all these ingredients.
Too bad there's not smell-o-vision.
Yeah, this smells great. Absolutely wonderful. It smells almost like a a Christmas time apple cider with cinnamon and nutmeg in it. That's what it reminds me of. All right, we have added all the spices to the wine. It's just below a boil. I got some steam coming off there. We're gonna go ahead and turn this off. I've got a food grade bucket. I picked this up at the big box store. And then we're gonna allow this to cool, and then we're gonna pour it in this bucket. And the lid has a rubber seal around it. It's airtight. Make sure that your container, you can use a glass jar if you want to. Make sure your container is airtight. Set it in a cool, dark place, 60, 65 degrees. Leave it there for 1 week, and then you strain it off, and then you put it into jars, and it'll keep in jars for a couple of years. And then you just pull it out, and we're gonna try this after our 1 week, and we're gonna see if it works or not.
1 month.
1 month.
You let it sit for 1 month.
Then we're going, let's see, in a cool dark place for 1 week. Strain the wine and return to airtight containers. Let the concoction rest for 1 month before drinking. It will keep unopened for years after 4 days. About 4 days after opening. All right, guys, we're gonna be back with you, and we're gonna try this out, and we'll let you know how it works. All right, it's been a week. We're back. Let's see what this looks like. It's been in the cool storage, about 60 degrees the whole time. Look at that. Yeah, it looks good. Smells good. Smells real good, almost like Christmas. So let's take it on over to the sink and let's strain it off. We got our pitcher rigged up with a little cheesecloth over the top. We don't want to get this on the counters. Put it down the sink. All that ginger floated to the top. All those ingredients came to the top.
No, don't fill it all the way up.
All right. All right, we got most of it put in jars. We're letting it last a little bit, filter to the cheesecloth to catch the sediment. I had this one little jar here, so we're gonna sample it and see how it tastes. That's good, like Christmas, like cider. That's got cayenne in it. It's a little warm. It's not unbearable. Just lets you know that it's there. Great flavor though. You won't be able to just drink that. You gotta sip it. A cayenne gives it a bite. All right, we're gonna finish jarring this up and putting lids on it. We're gonna let it age for a couple of weeks before we really test it out. So stay tuned. Whew.